Hello guys, this is Taran. I'm going to start with QTP session with you. So I'll discuss with you one of the topic which is very important topic in QTP, that is called as object repository. What is object repository? Object repository is a place in QTP where you store and manage test objects, checkpoints, and output values. In QTP, object repositories are of two types. They are per action repository, or it can also be called as local repository. And second category of object repository in QTP is shared repository. Let's have a look what is this object repository. So guys, whenever you are going to start with QTP automation, then you are able to see this kind of screen. For any QTP version, we have this kind of screen as a home page. We have various tabs and various controls over there here in QTP. So here you can see whatever the scripting we are going to do in QTP, it will be coming over here in white. This is the expert view, and in this screen all the source code will be available, whatever we write, right? So today we are going to discuss with the new topic that is called as object repository. So you guys can see here, this is the cylindrical icon available. This icon is called as object repository. Whenever we need to open this, we need to click this icon. I'll click. So here you can see already I have added some of the objects in the object repository, and hierarchical list of those items have been listed over here. So I'll explain you right from the starting. I am going to delete these things. Right? So whenever you guys will be going to open this object repository, you will be able to see this display page. Okay, so suppose I want to add some objects, and then I need to click on add objects from here plus button, and it has various controls. Suppose I want to highlight some object in the application, I can highlight from this button. Right now this highlight button is in disabled state because already in this object repository no object is available. That's why this is coming in disabled state. Once I add any object in this object repository, it will become in enabled state. Then we have one of the more important tool in this repository is called as object spy. Whenever we want to see any properties of any object under application, then we can see its property with the help of object spy, right? So let us suppose in the organization where you are working, you have got this application, and you need to test this application with the help of automation testing tool that is called as QTP. Your project manager wants from you to automate this application. This is the simple login application, right? And this flight login application, you need to prepare test cases, basic test cases with the help of QTP, right? So first and the basic thing which you need to do is, first of all the objects which are present in this dialog login page, you need to add those objects to the QTP. This will be the first and foremost step. So you can see here, this is the dialog login window. This is a dialog basically. So here you can see various objects are present. First object you can see is agent name. So here this is the text field. We need to enter any agent name. And second object is password. Here we need to enter the password. Then we have three buttons available in this application under test. First one is OK button. second is cancel button, third one is help button. These are also called as test objects or application objects. And this is also one object. This you can see here, this is one of the image present in an application. This is also again one of the object. Whatever the things or whatever the controls you see in the application, they are called as objects. So further, when we want to add something to agent name, it means we are adding, we are doing some function on the object, right? So suppose with the help of QTP, you are able to generate the script and you want to add the agent name over here. How will you do that? How can you add the agent name with the help of QTP? There should be some mechanism by which QTP will able to identify the agent name, that QTP has to enter the agent name here. So it all happens with the help of object repository. What we'll do here, we are going to add the objects one by one, and QTP, when we are going to add the objects, it will also, when it is going to add the objects, it is also going to store all the properties of a particular object. For example, I want to add this agent name. So first of all, first thing you always keep in mind that whenever we are going to add any object of an application, then it is always recommended that all the other windows which are currently open in the laptop, they should be closed or they should be minimized. Otherwise, you will not be able to add. For example, now I want to add the objects from flight login page. Then I need to minimize all the other open windows, right? Then I need to open QTP and then I need to open flight application. Okay, so now currently only two things are open. One is QTP tool and other is this flight login window on which I want to do automation. So I'll click on add button and then automatically I will be able to go to the application which I am going to test. So I'll point my cursor to agent name. So you can see as soon as I click the cursor agent name, hierarchical structure of that has come. You can see here first of all dialog login has come because dialog login is the parent class for agent name. So whenever we are going to add any object to the object repository, it always come in hierarchical form. Okay, so I want to add this, I'll click on OK. So you can see here in object repository, one object I have added, that is called as agent name, and it has added with its parent object also. So login is the parent object. So here first of all login has been added. So you can see here all the properties of login, they have been also stored. These are all the properties of login dialog box. So what are the properties it is saving? Name. Name is login. It is a name which is associated with the object in the application. So here you can see this dialog box. Name of this dialog box is login. So whatever the name is available in the object, it will be appearing in the name object property. And what is the class name in which this object belongs to? That is belongs to dialog class. And what is the repository? That is the local repository. So in QTP we have two kinds of repository. I told you in the slide itself. We have two types of repository in QTP. First one we have is a per action repository, that is called as a local repository also. And second option we have is shared repository. So currently we are adding objects on local repository. So that is why it is showing repository as a local one. And then we have various other advanced properties of a object, that is a login object. Visible, true. Text, associated, login. Native class, this, and whatever it is. So these are all the advanced properties of this login page. Then I'll come to agent log name. This is again one of the object in an application under test. So name associated with this, it means text associated with this object is agent name. Class, what is the class name of this object? That is belongs to WinEdit class, because we are, this is the text box and we are able to enter the text over here. That is why the name of this class is WinEdit box, WinEdit class. Again, this is the local repository, right? And attached text we have is agent name, because here you can see agent name is written in the label. So attached text with this dialog box is, with this agent name is agent name, right? And suppose I also want to add some more objects from the application, then I'll click on add. Suppose I want to add password also. Password has come. I'll click on OK button. OK has come. So you can see I click on OK. So what is this? This is a button. So you can easily observe the class name has come, Win button. Text associated with this object is OK. Repository is local, right? In the same way, we have also added password object, name, password, class name, WinEdit, repository, local, right? So this is how we add various objects in the application. So currently, if you are given the work for automating this application, so basically with the help of three objects we can test this application, basic functionality only. Suppose we want to test whether from valid agent name and valid password the application is able to log in or not. We can test this with the help of three objects, right? So we can validate the basic functionality of login page with the help of these three objects, right? Excuse me. So we have one more option available here. This is called as highlight in application. So highlight in application is basically used. Suppose you are working in a project in which there are many controls or many objects available. Suppose there are around 80 to 100 objects available in an application. It might happen you are working on banking application, because banking application are such a large application. They have around 50 to 100 number of objects in the object repository. Suppose you need to work on that kind of application, right? So suppose in they have a complete list of objects in that application, and suppose this is one of the uh, object in the object repository and you forget where the object is present in the application. Then how will you locate that object in the application? For that purpose, we have one very nice feature in object repository, that is called as highlight in application. Suppose I want to know where this password is located in the application. I will click on password. Then I will click on this cube. This is highlight in application. Now you can see that this password is blinking. It means this object is referred to this object in the application. We can easily locate this object in the login page. Suppose I also want to locate this OK. I don't know where it is situated in the application, where it is located in the application. I will click on OK and I will click on highlight in application. So here you can see OK is also blinking. So this is also one of the good feature in object repository by which we can able to locate various objects in an application. So what is the use of object repository? It saves the all information and properties of the object. So what happen when we are going to write scripting and we are giving some scripting we are setting that we need to enter the name as Taran in agent name. How QTP will able to recognize that Taran need to be entered here? How it will be recognizing? It will be able to recognize with the help of properties which are saved with particular object. Right? So suppose I want to enter Taran in agent name, then QTP, what will happen? Whatever the object property I will write here, QTP will identify, yeah, this is the object, and based on that object, it will go to here location. It will write here Taran. In the same way, if I have given the scripting, I have given the password as I want to give password as Mercury, the same way it will first of all identify from object repository that the object reference is matched or not, then ultimately it will type the password here. I'll show you with the help of example. Suppose I want to write agent name with the help of scripting, then this is how we do scripting in QTP. So I will run the script and you can easily see that QTP easily it will locate that, yeah, this is the agent name and this agent name need to be entered in agent name tab only, and this password Mercury need to be entered in password only. Then what I'm doing, I'm clicking the OK button. So QTP will able to recognize that this OK button need to be clicked, cancel should not be clicked. So how QTP identifies the various objects? It identifies these objects with the help of properties which are listed here. What happened first, suppose first line is executing. Okay, so suppose only first line is executing. How it will be executed? First of all, when this line will be QTP will go to the object repository and it will see whatever the parent class is dialog, it will see the dialog class. So here you can see the parent class is dialog. After the parent class we have classification of this child class. So child class is agent name, then it will be able to locate that this is the agent name and this is again the child class of the login parent class. Then here it will able to identify that in this text it need to enter Taran, right? So this is how object repository helps QTP to identify the object and it can do various functions on that object. So in this object we are able to enter the name Taran. So let's try to execute the script. I'm going to execute the script and I'll see what happens. And then for execution, I am going to click on this run. So our execution of the script is completed. And how much time it took take place for doing a simple login? It took only 4 seconds. Can you believe that? In 4 seconds, the flight application is logged with the valid input and valid output. And now you can see this is the flight reservation homepage. So we have successfully done login with the help of this automation script, and with the help of scripting only, we are able to with the scripting only we are able to go inside the application. We are able to log in the application successfully, right? So how it happened? It happened with the help of object repository, that we are able to identify the objects in the application. We entered agent name, we entered password, and then we'll click on OK button. Then we are able to successfully log in into the application, right? So this is the concept of object repository. And guys, we also have one more object repository, that is called as shared repository. Now what is this shared repository? Right now, whatever work I have done here, it was work in the local repository. As you can see, repository here is local. So we have one more option available in QTP, that is called as share repository. For that, we need to go to resources. Here you can see various options. First is object repository. Second is object repository manager. So object repository is a local. If you want to open the local, you can also open from here also. And then for shared object repository, we need to click on object repository manager. I'll click on this. So here you can see it's a kind of same page as it was in object repository local, right? So here also we can add the objects as we did in local. So here you can see it's showing add objects, so we can add objects in here also. And then we can also highlight the objects, and right, and this is the objects pie. So after preparing this share repository, we can also do save this repository. So this saving of repositories was not available in the local repository. So here we can save the repository. Why? Because when we are going to prepare shared repository, so what does it mean? Shared repository can be reused in various actions of QTP. Okay, so shared repository, when we are going to save this repository, it can be saved with the name, any name, suppose login name, and extension of that object repository is .tsr. So it will be saved with the name login.tsr. And suppose we want to use that object repository in some other action, then we can easily use that repository. We don't have to create repository again and again. But for the local repository, we need to create again and again. Here also, see, in many programming languages, you must have heard about the word functions. In various programming languages, you must have heard about functions or procedures. These are the individual units in any programming language which perform their individual task, right? In the same way, in QTP also we have a kind of function that is called as action. So action 1 can do different tasks like a one function, and action 2 can do different tasks, right? So whenever we are going to prepare object repository, then when we are going to create local repository, then that is individual to a particular action. So we cannot refer the object repository available in action number 1 to action number 2. Both are different. So repository which is available for action 1, we cannot use for action number 2. For example, we have just created the repository for action number 1, right? And suppose we want to use the same repository in action number 2. I'll go to action 2 and you can see here. So no object is present in this repository. You can see because this is the repository which is which is available in action number 2. Okay, so this is the concept of local repository. But if we are going to create the shared repository from here, you can easily use that repository to other actions, action 1, action 2, and many other actions. So this is the difference between local repository and shared repository. So what is per action repository? Every action in a test will have its corresponding object repository called per action repository. The objects present in local repository are accessible only to the corresponding action, as I just told you. Then what is shared repository? The objects present in local repository are accessible only to the particular action. To share this repository among multiple actions or multiple tests, you can use share repository. Then we have a next topic that is called as creation of shared repository. How we create shared repository, right? And after that we are going to discuss with associating shared repository. So we are going to discuss these topics in a next class. So thank you for today.